Hey y'all, it's Charisma. Welcome back to the channel. Charisma Cares Travel, where I teach women just like you how to invest in real estate the easy way, remotely from anywhere in the world. I have boot camp, live boot camp that is coming up in January. If I don't need any more medical treatment, but we'll talk about that. I also have a syndication course that's available for you. It's self-paced, finding and managing your own tenants that's available for you at self-paced. And all of these services, including coaching for real estate, disability, special needs, and solo moms, can be found on charismacares.com, charisma-cares.com. So, today, what I want to talk to you about, I won't be doing a live because I'm not necessarily feeling up to it, or I may be doing an MRI right now. So, what I wanted to talk to you about are things that I wish I would have known prior to getting into a car accident in Mexico. So whether that is Playa del Carmen, where I was, or any part of Mexico, I think these are things that you should know. I'm not going to put up a countdown. I may not put in any chapters. I'm just not really feeling 100%. So please bear with me if you feel like this information is important for you. So on Tuesday, I believe it was November 30th, I had taken this particular taxi because I was going to look at schools for my son. So, because this was my scouting trip and I wanted to move to Playa del Carmen. Of course, now I definitely don't want to move to Playa del Carmen, y'all. But at the time, I was doing this scouting trip to move to Playa del Carmen. I was going to a local school, Papalote. The school is the only one in the area with a special needs program. So I was going to tour the school, and I took this taxi here, and this woman was in her vehicle. I'm told by the taxi she was the driver. Honestly, y'all, I can't 100% say that with certainty, but this is what I was told. I know she did come out of the vehicle in front of us, and I was told she fell asleep, and she actually sideswiped the vehicle and hit my particular door. I was sitting on the left, Cam was sitting on the right. So she sideswiped the vehicle, hit my door, and the taxi driver actually had to chase her down to get her to stop. When she stopped, he simply put her in the vehicle with me. At the time that we were stopped, I sent my location to a friend here in Playa as well as a friend back in Atlanta, and I let them know that I was scared. I had no idea what was going on. So he put her in the car and he proceeds to drive. I asked where we're going and I don't get an answer. They've talked in Spanish. They're talking in Spanish. I have no idea what's going on. So they basically put me out at the school and still charges me cab fare and gets mad when I'm like, I'm not paying you the full fare. She should be paying you because she's riding in the cab. So they still end up actually charging me, y'all. And I'm so shaken up. I get to the school. The school says, "How are you?" And I'm like, I am just so scared. I was just in a car accident. Now, mind you, before I got out the car, I did take a picture of their license plates. I took a picture of the number of the taxi, took a picture of the individuals, and I had them put their phone number in there. The taxi driver, Emmanuel, of taxi, I believe this is 4512, put his number in there. But Margot, as she was putting in her number and she asked me why I needed it, and I said my back hurt, she proceeded not to put the last digit of her number in there. Y'all, a Mexican telephone number requires 10 digits. So if you ever have to get a number, make sure you have 10 digits. That would be my first thing. So we get to the school. I sit down. I stay there for a little bit so I can calm down. Then I get a taxi going back out. So that evening, I have pain. I have a lot of pain. My family convinced me to go see a doctor. The next day, I go see a doctor. The doctor orders some x-rays, some MRIs, and some pain medicine. The pain gets progressively worse. Now, At this point, I have a friend back in Mexico City. She's Mexican. She is contacting both the taxi driver and the lady. The taxi driver proceeds to tell her the things that I told you as far as her falling asleep and sideswiping us. But he also says that he tried to call help for me and I refused, which they never did unless they did in Spanish, in which I don't speak fluent Spanish. So asking me if you want me to call help in fluent Spanish, you're not talking to me. You're talking to the other individual that speaks fluent Spanish. I just know that at that time I thought I was being kidnapped. He then proceeds to block her, and we can't get in touch with the lady because we don't have all 10 digits. Again, y'all, please remember to get all 10 digits. So fast forward, I contact my car insurance company. So let me talk about insurances. So I have Chase Sapphire. Chase Sapphire comes with an insurance component. When I do trips shorter than 60 days, I use Chase Sapphire because I'm not doing extended trips. And I know that they have insurance. When I do trips longer than 60 days, I use Safety Wing. Unfortunately for me, y'all, this trip was shorter than 60 days, so I didn't use Chase Sapphire. And unfortunately for me, Chase Sapphire only covers $2,500. My first thing would be I would urge you all to go ahead and get Safety Wing. I have a link below. I am actually an ambassador of Safety Wing. I have used Safety Wing in the past and it has been great. It takes a little time to get your money reimbursed, but you get it reimbursed. And Safety Wing covers up to, I think it's 100,000 per incident, but 250,000 per lifetime. And the reason why I say unfortunately for me, because at this time it's a possibility I will need to have surgery. And surgery is going to cost me more than $2,500. So, unfortunately for me, I did not have Safety Wing at the time of this accident. Yeah. So, I don't care if you're going out of town for a vacation for 5 days or 100 days. I urge you to get more insurance coverage than what your credit card offers. They are not going to offer you enough just in case you are in some type of accident. So that could be in a car, that could be in a boat, paraskiing. Know that if you're doing any extreme sports, even a regular insurance, even a insurance such as Safety Wing may not cover you. So you may need additional coverage for those extreme sports. So please read your insurance clearly and know all of the details and ask yourself, if I was to need surgery while I'm here, would this policy cover me? Because it would totally be worth the money. Yes, it seems like a waste if you're not using it. However, when you need it, it's too late. I always have insurance. I felt like I was adequately covered. But, in hindsight, I didn't have enough insurance. By using my Chase Sapphire, I am actually underinsured as far as what I need for all of my injuries. So that brings me to another thing. Margot did not have car insurance. At the scene of the crime, I should have called the police. And I was so shaken up. I didn't know if I was being kidnapped. I didn't know if I needed to get my son to safety. So I did not call the police. So I did not call the police. However, nor did any of my contacts that I sent the information to. Somebody should have called the police. So I'm not blaming my contacts, but please, 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 if someone contacts you and they're in a situation that could be emergent, please call the police on their behalf. They may not be thinking rationally. And you, as the person that they have reached out to, need to think rationally. I had sent both of them my location, so even from the States, they could have called the police, or of course here locally in Playa. So even though three of us were aware of the situation at the time, none of us really called the police. I think we were all very shaken up, and none of us could really think rationally about the next thing to do. But, and I think the other thing is I have a fear of the police. living in Atlanta. So I don't call the police. I don't call the ambulance. I don't call anybody. So frankly, it's kind of like sink or swim. This was a kick in my own ass by not calling the police. Had I called the police, I could have got the ball rolling and the police would have at least investigated it and took her to jail. Or something would have happened. By me not calling the police, this definitely delayed quite a bit. So, it's better to err on the side of caution and call the police and not need them than not call the police and need them later. And I'm going to tell you why. Things in Mexico happen very, very differently. I am planning to leave Mexico here soon. I am trying to definitely make it out of here alive, out of Playa del Carmen. And I've called the embassy. When I leave Playa del Carmen, if I'm not here to come back and follow up on this case in person, my case dies with me. Now, even if you call the police, that is still the understanding. However, that would have given a week and a half for them to actually make some traction on this particular case. Also know that in Mexico, all they do is pay for your medical bills, even if they do have insurance. That pain and suffering doesn't exist outside of in Mexico. So that extra money that we get for sitting here in pain and going through all of this, that means absolutely nothing. In Mexico, that is your problem. You deal with that. The only thing they pay for is health care, is your medical bills. And even that, I feel like is a little iffy, even when they do have insurance, but at least that will give you some type of coverage. So their car insurance or whomever would pay for those medical bills for you. Now, I will say she doesn't have car insurance. Probably the most that would happen to her is she could be arrested. That is definitely not worth me staying here longer for, is to have her arrested. I would love for her to be arrested after they blocked me and, kind of left me out there like an animal and didn't even give me as much of a I'm sorry. However, I'm not going to stay in this place that just is not a good place for me for that vengeance. I feel like that vengeance will come to her definitely sooner than later of her own admission and guilt. I'm not sure why the taxi driver felt the need to block us and did not help us. However, I mean, one could only think I am here of a different origin and they are allies. So basically, there's no recourse for what has happened to me. I have back, neck injuries. I may have to have shoulder surgery. Absolutely no help here in these Mexican Playa del Carmen streets. Absolutely none at all. So that is the other thing. Make sure you call the police. Make sure you get the correct phone numbers. Make sure you have your own insurance. And even with these insurances, I don't think they cover time for pain and suffering either. So that recovery time or that time that you missed off of work, that may end up just being your problem. You may have to suck that up. It's very unfortunate, but it's true. At the end of the day, we're no longer in the United States. And as much as we complain about living in the United States, we are no longer given those same liberties that we have in the United States, which as an expat and a digital nomad, this is definitely making me completely rethink my life, y'all. I'm not a fan of living in the U.S. However, I am a fan of my civil liberties that I am no longer granted once I leave the United States. I actually called the embassy to see if they could help me or guide me. I let them know I did make the police report, and they informed me that they're the ones that informed me that once I leave here, my case dies with me. Like basically, when I leave, so does the case. There's no victim to follow up, so there's no case here. It's not like in the States where, the city or the state takes over and they say that this is now their case and they're going to pursue it. No, no, no. No, this is nobody's case because you're gone. So just know that you may not receive justice for anything that is done to you. So, well, even if that's not a car accident, even if you're pickpocketed or you have something stolen, any of these things that happen here, they just happen. You just accept that that's what happened and you move on. Some people will say, okay, they robbed my apartment and took everything in it, but I love it here, so I'll stay. Other people are like, F y'all, I'm getting the hell up out of here. This is not for me. This is for the birds. I'm not following up on the case because y'all not going to find anybody. Y'all not going to get my stuff back. You're not going to make him pay. So it is what it is. These are things that you need to decide as an expat. And I think this is probably the case anywhere that you go. Those liberties die when you leave that U.S. soil. Now, the other thing I want you to know about the U.S. Embassy, because it was actually someone in a group that told me to reach out to them. They are not really there to help you. And I know that's going to sound very interesting. However, when I called them, their response was, we are here to give you information. We are here to guide you. So, for example, the information that when you leave, that your case dies with you, that's Mexican law. U.S. Embassy does not go above Mexican law. So it doesn't really matter what they did to you. They could shoot you and kill you dead in the street. Right? So, and whatever the law is, that is the law that is backed up by the U.S. Embassy. The U.S. Embassy will help you, guide you, help you find an attorney. They will help contact your family. They may help get your remains back. But following up on the rest of that is on you. That's why when we see all of these cases overseas, when things are happening to these people, and they're like, oh, didn't they get the embassy involved? Yeah, they got the embassy involved, but the embassy's hands are tied behind the law of that particular country that you are in. So your laws mean nothing. Hence, Brittany Grimer, that is now in whatever jail they dug under the hole, like my grandmother used to say, behind God's back. That is why she is there, because the U.S. Embassy does not go over their particular law. So I'm going to tell y'all, don't break no crimes because they ain't going to help you. Like, that's just what it is. You are not a superstar. You are not a basketball player. And if she couldn't get any help, and most of y'all are not the right complexion, I'm just going to be honest. So if she couldn't get any help, just know you probably won't get any help either. You are going to have to contact an attorney. Which brings me to the next thing. Did I contact an attorney? Actually, y'all, yes, I did contact an attorney. I contacted an attorney, and basically they told me my best recourse was to have was to get in touch with her and get her insurance information. When I informed them that she didn't have insurance information, they were basically kind of like, that's it. And that was a lawyer here. That was the lawyer that advertises here in Mexico. So, in case you're wondering, Charisma, with all of this, why didn't you contact an attorney? So, I did. So, here's a popular attorney here in Playa del Carmen, Mex Law, Maria Martinez Rubio. And she tells me that unfortunately, at the time of the accident, there was nothing done in terms of seeing the other driver didn't respond in some type of way for the crash and had no insurance. That there is nothing much that can be done at this time but getting checked if you feel worse. Obviously, you have to assume these payments. Please advise, regards, Mex Law. And this is the attorney here in Mexico. I'm not sure what the requirements are to be an attorney here in Mexico, but I know in other countries they say it's actually pretty easy to become an attorney. Frankly, the law is very cut and dry. You kind of do what you want to do here. Like, you can have insurance, you cannot have insurance. You can hit people, you cannot hit people. You can rob people, you cannot rob people. Like, the law is pretty cut and dry. At the end of the day, you can't squeeze anything if there's no water in it. Like, you can't squeeze lemon juice out of a lemon that's empty. So, I mean, frankly, this woman probably has no money, which is why she probably doesn't have car insurance. So I'm getting absolutely nothing from this other than a messed up back and a possibly dislocated shoulder. This is what I am getting out of my Playa del Carmen trip. Um, so so you may ask, so Charisma, are you now anti-Mexico and anti-Playa del Carmen? I am anti-Playa del Carmen. Hot Girl Summer was great, but Hot Girl Summer sucks if you were to fall and break your leg. Hot Girl Summer's bad if that happens because guess what? There are no real hospitals here. They are price gouging you. They are pretty awful. So you to get to a real hospital, you actually, if you had like if you broke your leg, I guess you could pay the 10 grand that they'll probably charge you to fix your leg, which is still a bit much. However, if you had something serious happen to you, you absolutely need to leave and go to Cancun. I personally would not trust the hospital here. I just don't. I don't want them doing anything to me. So I'm actually renting a car today and I'm going to Cancun to get my care done. So that's the thing. Like, it can't be hot girl summer if something happened to me and I can't get fixed up, right? Because I kind of need to leave with all the body parts that I came with. I don't feel like I'm asking for a whole lot, but for the very minimum, I need to leave with every body part that I came with. Am I anti-Mexico? Actually, I am absolutely not anti-Mexico. I am teeter-tottering with the idea of going back to Mexico City to do my treatment there, possibly see a doctor there, and do my surgery. I am going back and forth with whether I want to be in Atlanta for this or whether I want to be in Mexico City. Mexico City just responds faster. They have plenty of hospitals, plenty of doctor's offices. I have a great physical therapist there. I have friends there. So it is definitely something that I'm looking at. Will I still apply for residency in Mexico? Yeah, I will, because I'm good. Like I said, I'm going back to Mexico City. And I may need to enroll my son in school while I'm there so I can get better. So it is something that I am looking into. Will I ever leave home without my safety wing insurance? I absolutely will not. I don't care if I'm leaving for 3 days. I will have my safety wing insurance with me. They will happily take my $42 a month from me and my $42 a month for Cam for every day that we travel out of the United States for the rest of our lives. I don't know how much that will end up being, but I am happily going to pay that money every time. Like I told you, there is a link below where you can get registered with them. Um, if you want to, make any type of donation, feel free to buy us a pizza. There's a virtual link there. There's also my PayPal and maybe my Cash App. I don't know. If that's something that's on your heart that you would like to help out with, we are completely open. If it's not, definitely don't take this as she's saying we have to do something. Absolutely not. I wish you all well, and I will keep you updated on my journey. So for now, ciao, y'all. And don't forget to check out my new website, charisma-cares.com. I have some wonderful things coming down the pipeline. I have some great classes available for you to take self-paced, coaching, and everything else. Until next time, ciao.